Welcome back to Liberty Living's podcast. Today I wanted to discuss the powerhouse of the mind. One of the mind's primary tasks is to keep us safe. However, change alerts the mind of danger, therefore doing its best to put a halt on any change from occurring, even positive change. Moreover, when we run on former belief paradigms from our subconscious programming, we're not effortlessly able to transform our conditions for the better. The mind, simply put, does not like change. Fortunately, there are powerful recoding techniques to rewire the neural circuitry so we can effectively heal the distortions of our psychological programming and overcome the relooping sabotage behaviors. Emotion is one of the most important faculties of the human mind. Without intense feeling sensation, our emotions will not effectively engage our brain's neural pathways to properly change our programming and conditions. When we have a thought that's accompanied by a feeling through neural encoding, it forms a belief, producing a subjective or conditioned perception that becomes rooted in our subconscious mind, creating our perceptual reality. In other words, we are creating our own reality. So to successfully change our conditions, though, we must first, however, unpack our belief programs and override those cyclical patterns to experience lasting effective change. Otherwise, we will only continue to recycle the same painful lessons and familiar patterns rather than gain freedom from our limits. Focusing on the solution alone will not recode the patterns. So for those who are ready to overcome internal blocks to fast track their success with simple techniques, we compiled the personal methods that have successfully worked for our clients and ourselves into a powerful recoding system provided in our ebooks. And we want to improve our circumstances. We recognize we have to first focus on our psychology because our psychology reigns supreme over our circumstances. So we will cover excerpts from our ebook, Recode Subconscious Beliefs. First of all, are you using specific beliefs to help you to align to your ideal reality? Because we all possess the same two segments of our mind power, the conscious and the subconscious mind. Our conscious mind is the active, awake function of the mind that is alert, assesses, calculates, and judges. Our subconscious mind stores our memories, emotions, and beliefs. So it is also the powerhouse of the mind because of that feeling. And that makes up more than 90% of our brain. When we discuss that the conscious mind only makes up 10%, it's because the subconscious mind is 90%. So it's best to lend more credit to our powerful emotions so they can begin to work for us. Our subconscious beliefs unconsciously dictate our reality and will run our psychological programming. So these stresses that are often found in our unconscious and subconscious mind are the ones that cause most of our underlying challenges. Therefore, our beliefs are either working for us or against us. We can make the most of our internal powerhouse if we can better understand our existent and inherent programming. In order to change the subconscious commands, we must be able to access the subconscious mind. So it's helpful to peek under the hood so we can better understand our unconscious processes and the mechanics of this powerful machinery. Our thoughts are the electromagnetic blueprints, which will eventually externalize into our reality. So be sure to guard against critical or judgmental thoughts or perceptions, because that is what we will continue to create and experience in our interactions and relationships with ourselves and others due to our perceptions becoming a projection of our reality. Our internal reality becomes our external experience. Even as we project our judgments upon things and other people, we interfere with the natural vibrational energy that makes up who we are and what they are. For what we believe in, perceive creates those conditions under which we operate. So emotion is one of the most important faculties of the human mind as the powerhouse of the mind, because the emotion drives the other faculties, including memory, intelligence, intention, and creation, and so forth. Emotion is the energy in motion and is the energy that fuels our thoughts and gives them power, putting them into motion and creation because of the effects of the emotion on perception, thinking, and behavior of the emotional energy that has the power to encode our memories and form associations that bind us to our life experiences, whether positive or negative, because we often talk about those neuroassociations. Is there something you have a positive or negative that feels pleasant or unpleasant because of a past experience. So through the process of genetic recoding, we can eradicate beliefs and emotions that produce negative outcomes and restructure our mind with beliefs that work to our advantage. The sooner we address our epigenetic programming, we can eradicate negative beliefs and improve our mindset and behaviors. And then the sooner we could also enjoy healthy, soulful living while instilling positive and successful habits. So once we can commit to doing the inner work through the process of genetic recoding, we can heal the entire generational system and prevent the same needless hardships and lifelong pain of family patterns for our families, loved ones, and offspring. As we use effective psychological strategies to heal our traumas, we can activate our own healthy gene expression from inherent distortions. In other words, we can heal family patterns while signaling healthy gene expression for optimal healing, which also repairs our DNA. The core emotions are transferred from one generation and carried into the next generation through epigenetic transference. This causes us to spend most of our lives seeking to have our own needs met, typically through other people, instead of learning how to be resourceful, self-sufficient, and create that mutually beneficial dynamic. So the shift in perspective can assist us in determining the origins of our behaviors, our core beliefs, and unmet emotional needs, which we discussed in depth and expanded on in our last podcast. So furthermore, if you focus on the infallible ways in which you were loved during your upbringing, you'll recognize that your parents or caretaker made significant sacrifices on your behalf. As you identify the unmet needs, you'll begin to address your own. We may not often lend as much weight of our relationship patterns to the relationship we had with our parents or caretakers until we identify the correlation between our parents today that originated from our youth and that first imprint that conditioned our relationships, because the majority of our subconscious programming is formed prior to the age of 7. So I'm going to just focus on some of the benefits of the 7-step introductory to genetic recoding, and by applying the empowerment model, that in doing so, it can help us overcome the ongoing battle of generational hardships, the relationship conflict with ourselves and with others, to achieve the emotional balance and integration, and also the mastery over the self, making empowering decisions by learning successful recoding strategies to address what can be difficult emotions now will allay future suffering. If not, we will stunt emotional maturity and continue to carry these childhood wounds around into our adult life until we implement healthier behaviors from empowering healing strategies. Do you ever notice any childish behaviors, not childlike, but childish behaviors? That's often where a trauma has been stagnant, has never been revisited or healed. So once we can take full accountability that we are creating those outcomes in our life, since everything is done according to our beliefs, we can gain self-empowerment that gives us the awareness and ability to change our external circumstances. And in this respect, we are no longer operating from the victim role in our life, but choosing to be empowered by being at the helm of our life circumstances. Therefore, owning our power is just as much about being responsible for our creations as well as miscreations. By clearing out the distortions from encoded programming, which is just inherent, and reconditioning the mind with the correct strategies, we can recode our programming and begin to anchor in our authentic identity, thus overcoming our genetic and default programming, which is also sometimes a default identity. And the perceptual reframing allows us to restructure our belief system to benefit us by correcting and elevating our mental conditioning to a positive and healthier mindset, staying solution focused rather than engaging in fear-based mindset or focusing on limited dispositions such as a negativity bias. So to put it simply, focusing on the ideal outcome once inherent programming has been addressed with the positive perspectives, which helps to rewire the neurocircuitry and improve our neurochemistry rather than reinforcing that brain's negativity bias that stems from this fear programming and thinking. Self-defeating behaviors are common to everyone, and with the help of these strategies, we do have the ability to overcome the survival tendencies that will enable us to thrive. So shortcutting the process with genetic recoding by using our PANACEA model can rapidly enable us to master our problems and achieve higher awareness, healing, and liberating ourselves and our family that is life-lasting. So if you want to learn the complete 7-step advanced recoding technique for only $1, take advantage of our Black Friday 1-week only sale. The promotion begins December 3rd, and the link will be provided. So if you want to learn more about your relationship archetype and the psychology behind relationship patterns that we discussed in last week's podcast, or if you want to learn more about the Cartman Triangle, how to overcome codependency, or learn self-mastery and an in-depth knowledge on this topic, you can find our titles Recode Subconscious Beliefs and Break Codependency Patterns as Chain Breakers on Amazon with our ebooks, with the promotion that will be available by December 3rd, or available on our website at Liberated Living. Thank you so much for joining me.